This is 4-color Omnath Isle. Basically, it's Field of the Dead and and Omnath all in one deck. We're running Dryad of the Elysian Grove as a way to turn Valakut into another win condition. And then we just have a bunch of different named lands. We've got a couple removal spells in Path and Bolt. We've got some counter magic with Mana Leak and Remand. We've got Wrenn and 6 as a way to recur our lands, because, you know, it's a lands deck. And then we've got Growth Spiral as a way to ramp ourselves, draw cards. Exactly what this deck wants to be doing. It's got 2 Hour Promises, so that way we can, say, get to 5 mana and then turn on Field of the Dead. A Singleton to Fairy Time Reveler is a way to be able to cast Hour of Promise at instant speed. And then a Turn Timber Symbiosis, either to basically flip over an Omnath Uro or Dryad if we need it, if we have 7 mana, or as a land drop, because then it's another unique named land, making us have 29. For the sideboard, what we've got is we've got 2 Rest in Peace for Graveyard Strategies, Celestial Purge for those black and red decks, such as the red-black Shadow deck that's going around, more counter magic in the form of Mystical Dispute, and then Aether Gust as pseudo counter magic for red and green permanents, Cleansing Wildfire for other land type decks, or say decks that don't run land, such as the Landless Belcher, a Gaia's Blessing because mill is still a thing every now and again. So being able to shuffle our graveyard into our library seems like a good effect. Veil of Summer, so if we're facing another counter magic deck, we can stop their counter magic. And then Supreme Verdict and Fire Spout for those more creature heavy decks where our single target removal is not going to be enough, such as spirits and humans. That's the quick rundown of the deck. And we'll take it into some leagues and see how well it does. All right, match number 1 has been found. We lost the die roll. This will be an interesting one. So hand has a turn 2 Wrenn 6, but we don't have blue. We'll mulligan once. And this is, believe it or not, a pretty easy keep. We've got a bit of removal. We've got all of our colors. So, yeah. Snow-covered plains. Makes me go Taxmasters. I'll go Rainforest past the turn. Ideally, we want a green land here. They cycle, they cast out. Okay, meaning probably blue-white control. Lotus Bloom exiled. Enduring ideal. Okay, this hand's not going to be good for what they're trying to do. This fetch. We have a Triome. We'll grab a Triome here. That. We can do the Triome next turn. Hollowed Fountain past turn. What is our out? We don't have one. Our out's to counter whatever they try to put down. Meaning we need to draw a counter spell. Second Lotus Bloom. And fetch this for a tapped breeding pool. That way we can go Steam Vent, shock it in, Green, blue, blue, Uro, ETB. Do it like that. Uro gets sacked. We gain 3 life. We get to put a Triumph into play tapped. Opponent's Lotus Blooms come down a bit. Okay. Do that. We can go Dryad. Gives us an additional land drop. Put it into play tapped. Pass turn. And paying costs. Okay. We don't have counter magic, so we'll let that happen. They can put... Okay. They put 3 on the bottom. They draw 3. Lotus Bloom comes in. Green, blue, growth spiral. Put this onto the battlefield. We'll pay 2. Doesn't matter. Now we have second Dryad. We can bolt them on this next end step. Won't give us enough cards in the yard, however. Your opponents can't cast spells this turn. Okay, meaning they're trying to go for... Yep. They'll probably have the Enduring Ideal here. So 3, 6, 1 Enduring Ideal sounds good. They get to grab an enchantment card and put it on the battlefield. Blood Moon. Okay. And that means that these can only tap for red right now. Yay for layers. Take opponent down to 11. And then they get to do Enduring Ideal. They're stuck with 3 cards in their hand for the rest of the game. So I know this is a red-white Enduring Ideal list that runs Blood Moon and the Unlife. Good to note. Knock them down to 7, and then they probably get Solemnity here. No, they get Form of the Dragon. Okay, we're never gonna... Creatures without flying can't attack. Okay. They deal 5 to my Dryad. Okay, we can't cast the Uro. We can't attack. We have 8 uniquely named in the lands. However, we will eventually just lose, so we'll go ahead and concede because we don't have any enchantment destruction. At least as far as I'm aware, main board. We might have been able... No, we can't get there with Omnath. So we just need more counter magic. Right. can guarantee you they have enough land drop or basics that the Cleansing Wildfire doesn't matter. That Gusts is a way to deal with Blood Moon. As far as cards that are dead in this matchup, Paths. They have 0 creatures. That's why you always hold second Dryad. Although I wanted to present a clock at that point, so that's why I ended up not holding it. Because 4 is greater than 2 by a factor of 2. I would love to take the play. So turn 2 Renin 6. Turn 4 Omnath. We're not doing much though. But this is fine. So this will go get the Katarina Triome. This will shock in. We'll do Renin 6. We'll pick up the Flooded Strand. And then we need... We can go Triome. I mean, it all depends on what we draw, right? Put him mulligan to 6. Okay. We'll go Flooded Strand, pass the turn. This is the problem when you can't afford to rent or buy Force of Negations and Cryptic Commands. When you really need those counter spells. This Triome. Ooh, that's a good one. Red, green, Renin 6, uptick. Get this Flooded Strand back. During your turn, opponents can't cast spells or abilities. Fun. This. Fetch. Do we have another red land? We don't. We will, however, get a basic blue here. And play out Dryad. Uptick. Hollowed Fountain. Get basic white off of this. And tap this for red and Lightning Bolt there. 2/2. Opponent has conceded the game. Why would you concede? Okay, so we draw, we'd have Renin 6 uptick, we'd then play Omnath, go Flooded Strand, crack Flooded Strand, play Raggarine Triome, have 6 for next turn to be able to constantly start making zombies. Okay. I still feel what we did is correct. Maybe it's bored out. Nah. I don't think we need the paths. They've got to be running, what, 1, maybe 2 abolishers most? They can't have too many creatures. We've got a Time Raveler, a Dryad, an Omnath, and an Uro. Yeah. We can keep this. One Lotus Bloom. Okay. So Triome into play, pass the turn. This way we'll have Mana Leak up next turn. Unless we need it this turn. Looks like we don't though. That's good. This, shock it in, pass the turn. Mana Leak. Oh, that's how we deal with enchantments. Okay. So the question is, do we go with Uro? Yeah, we go with Uro. Green, blue, green, this. Triggers this, put in a Flooded Strand, and then we have Uro. And this way we can either get basic white or basic blue if they try to Blood Moon here. Problem is it's not basic green. So our Triome doesn't tap for white, so we want to get our snow-covered plains here. Green, red, blue, white. Omnath. ETB draw. 3-man's a fun one. We can't cast it right now, however. Destroy all islands. Okay. You set me back 3 turns. And then you have On Thin Ice. Okay. Who's ready to never draw lands in our 28 land deck? This will pitch. We'll pitch a Dryad. Grand Abolisher sounds good. Misty. Pass turn. Saying we want as many possible hits for lands. Lotus Bloom is exiled. Opponent gets in for 2. Sounds good. We'll go down to 16 in step. We draw a Mana Leak. Put Hour of Promise into the bin. Second Lotus Bloom entered the exile zone. There we go. We can now get one of each of our basic colors other than red, which we don't care about. Get ourselves a forest here. That should have been an island. Do this, do that. Pay 2 life. Pass the turn. Well, we can't play on their turn anyway. This is how Abolisher reads. I should have downticked on the On Thin Ice. My stupidity. Yeah. Play out your second Grand Abolisher. snow-covered mountain. We can uptick there. We can either Renin 6 or Growth Spiral. I like Renin 6 here because it then gives us access to returning cards. And that way we can have access to green, green, blue, blue eventually. We'll lose to Fairy here, but not before they just straight lose a Lotus Bloom. So we shut them off of 3 mana here. Yep, that goes at Teferi. Makes sense. And now they pay costs for 9 lives? Sure. We go Uro. Blue, white, green, red. ETB draw. Put ourselves an Uro or an Omnath. We can do this. Yield to the Omnath triggers. Do this. Go get ourselves a basic island so that we're not cut off of mana. And now we've got enough to Dryad. Which will then give us enough to Uro. Green, blue, Uro. Sack it unless it escapes. Draw a card, play field. Always yield to the Field of the Dead. Uro gets sacked. Okay. Renin 6. Uptick. Go with a Misty Rainforest. Why not? Do they have the combo? The answer is they probably have the Enduring Ideal. And then they go and they get the Solemnity combo. Dovescape. This is what? Counter that spell. You that island here. If that happens, we do this. We return the Triome. We cycle the Triome with this you. Now we still have 4. We can bring back Uro with green and blue. Exiling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uro happens. This does Uro things. Put a snow-covered forest into play. Why not? Omnath trigger. And that. Okay, how much do we have here? 1, 2, 3. Puts them to 5. Unfortunate. We don't. Oh, we can do a second Uro here too. Green, green. Blue, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it doesn't matter. Uro's legendary. So that would be stupid to do. Could go this. Well, no, because then we lose our other Omnath. So we'll let the mana dissipate. Begin combat. Attack with everything. See if opponent wants to block with the Abolisher. They do not. Okay, so at this point we need to kill the Grand Abolisher. Because this goes and gets Solemnity at this point. If it doesn't, they lose next turn. Yep. So between the opponent's Dovescape and the Solemnity there, we don't have a win condition in the deck anymore because that Teferi Time Reveler is now dead because I was stupid. So we lose this game, but I decided to play it out a bit just that way I can learn the deck a bit more. And that's what these next 11 minutes that I do are me spinning the wheels in an effort to just learn the deck, stack the triggers correctly, etc., etc. I know I'm not going to get there, and I'm wasting my time and my opponents. Anyway, onwards to match 2. Match has been found. We lost the die roll yet again. This can go get green, which will allow us a run in 6. Then we have paths and bolts for removal. Opponent mulligan to 6. Inspiring Vantage Pass. I'm gonna play the Triome here. Okay, so we're looking at probably Red-White Turbo Town, which means we want this run in 6 as quickly as we can. The problem is we'll be playing it directly into a Mana Tithe. Show me the Mana Tithe, opponent. Yep. I knew it. Knew that they had to have a reason. That's fine. We'll draw another one. This Boom Bust. Oh, just a Chandra. Okay. Not as bad. Make some elementals. They have haste. Yep. Okay, elementals get sacked. Ren and 6 off the top. Wrong cards. So blue, green, growth spiral. Do this, and this can be white green is what we need here. Temple Garden, Shocked In, Growth Spiral, draw ourselves another card. Out of Valakut, pass the turn. Yes, we're at 12, however, we're about to have Omnaths. An opponent has a prime village / boom bust target, or cleansing wildfire, whatever they have. Nahiri, all right. So definitely just red-white lockout. Yeah, that's about to not fly, opponent. So red, blue, white, undo, undo, green, white, blue, Omnath. ETB draw. We draw there. We bolt the Nahiri. Keep that Nahiri at bay for a turn. They deal 4 to the Omnath, sure. They put Nahiri up, and then they go uptick. Interesting set of decks to face round 1 and round 2. This Molten Rains destroys our Valakut. Yep. Red, white, green, blue, Omnath. ETB draw, play out this Triome, gain some life. Because they can't do it this turn. Nahiri, well, actually they can. They go here, and now they downtick, show me Emrakul, and we'll concede. Spaghetti Mom? Spaghetti Mom. Right, that is the Aeon's Torn. Yeah, that's the 15/15. Cool. Spaghetti Mom. That's all that I needed to see. Celestial Purges definitely come in here. Mana Leaks, Remands. Aether Gusts aren't bad against them. Mystical Dispute's pretty bad. Paths can come out. The only creature that they really run is Emrakul, which has protection from instants and sorceries. Let me double check that. Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. Flying, protection from colored spells. Okay, it's protection from colored spells. Which, still, the same thing. We can't hit it with paths. Other than that, we just need to be a bit faster, so we need to trim 2 cards here. You can trim a Dryad and... trim a Dryad and an Uro. I would love to play first. Yeah, we can keep this. So these will both fetch for red sources. Ideally. Ideally, this Flooded Strand gets like Steam Vents, and then this Windswept Heath gets another red source. This Pay a Life, go get red. Do we not have double red source off color? No, we do. We have Triomes. So Triome is red and green, which is good. That Windswept, pass turn. Arguably, we should have kept it as a fetch land, so that way if they have boom here, we don't get destroyed. Because I can guarantee you this is a boom. Yep. We'll do that. We lose our Triome. They get Plains tapped, which we're fine with, because then this gives us Renin 6. You this. Raggarine Triome is our red source. Green, Renin 6. Show me your force of negation. Oh, wait. Now we can go get this Triome. Okay. And we've landed our greatest thing against a boom bust style deck is Renin 6. They now need a Planeswalker removal spell. Not something that they run too many of. But they do have the Celestial Purge. What a fun one. So we can either hold up. We'll go Field of the Dead, hold up Remand. Because this is Remand or Purge. So we wait to see what they do. So if this is like Nahiri, we let it resolve. It's a Chandra. Try to remand it, see if they have the mana tithe for our remand. They do. Okay. Yeah, your Chandra's good. Okay, they make some elementals, that's fine. They're down to 2 cards, which means that they don't have much at this point. We can't land this Teferi right now, though. There goes their elementals. Run in 6. Flooded Strand, put Flooded Strand into play, pass the turn. You may cast if that's what we put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Okay. It's still cast. You're gonna mana tithe this Celestial Purge. You're just gonna have 2 mana tithes. Sure. Sure, opponent. Have 2 mana tithes. White, blue, 1 Teferi. Play the Triome. Uptick, no target. Oh, Uptick doesn't have targets. Okay, red. Molten Rain's the Field of the Dead. Okay. Makes 2 elementals. And both at Teferi, sounds good. Makes it so Teferi can't be utilized. They get sacked. When it's got 2 cards in hand, we'll go this. White, green, go ahead and purge that away. Uptick, pass turn. So we are 1 green and 1 short. Has second Chandra. Of course they have second Chandra. Why wouldn't they have second Chandra? Assuming that's both at the ferry. Hour of Promise. Okay. Makes 2. Gonna probably swing them both at Teferi here is their game plan. So this is Field of the Dead and a Valakut. Just because. Kill his creatures, keep our Teferi around. Let's see if opponent tries to kill off our Field of the Dead. They draw a card. Sure. This, we need green. We'll get Temple Garden tapped. Why not? Hey, there's a card. Red, white, blue, green, Omnath. This, we'll do this now, because why not? Use Steam Vents tapped. Triggers Omnath will gain 4. Make a zombie, do that. Then we have this as a cast. Green 1. Turn Timber Symbiosis. For the top 7. Unfortunate. Omnath will choose this one to keep. Okay. Uptick. In combat. 1, 2, just to be on the safe side in case they have bolt. We'll go 3. And I don't think the lockout deck's gonna be able to do much at this point. Unless they hard cast bust. Wrath of God, sure. And then they draw a card. So So we're searching for Dryad of the Elysian Grove. That's not Dryad. We'll do this, no target. Hour of Promise. Okay. We'll go land. I mean, I guess we go ahead and do it. And that, and then we can get, is this tapped? Yes, it is tapped. Valakut Breeding Bull. I would not like to pay 2 life. Red, they go with a Cleansing Wildfire. In response, we'll fetch. And do this, get a Snow-Covered Forest, I guess. Would love to do Cleansing Wildfire. We'll get a Snow-Covered Island. One, 2, 3, 4. Nahiri, okay. You can uptick. You're also tapped out. Being tapped out with 1 card in hand. There's nothing I have to worry about from them. This. Combat. Nahiri, them. Nahiri dies. It's their turn. Mana leak anything that they do. Just to set them back mana. Okay. Would have drawn Growth Spiral, which we would have cast, which would have drawn us another mana leak. Okay. All right, red-white lockout. Still agree. There's nothing that I want to change here. Just need to hope that they don't have double purge for our Renin 6. It's interesting because Renin 6 and Omnath are our only red permanents. So they just really don't like that card. We can keep this. Lead off with tapped Triome, see if they have the ooh. Lead off with fetch land. We don't need to fetch unless they try to destroy it. They're not going to try to destroy a fetch land because that would be stupid. You that Snow-Covered Island, pass turn. Okay. So they play out the Cataracts. And pillage. Destroying there. Sounds stupid. So you... Temple Garden, because we need green. Green, blue, Growth Spiral. Put in Triome tapped. Nice, you destroyed my blue source. Oh, wait. So, red, green, Ren and Stimpy. Uptick Misty. Misty pass turn. A Johnny Vengeant. Okay. Uptick probably the Triome, sure. Don't even know what this can get. The other Triome. Why not? So those will untap. We'll do this. Shock it in. Uptick here. Go with the Rainforest. Then green, blue, 1. Uro. Trigger stacks. Gain some life. We'll play out Field of the Dead. Why not? And try to give them a good bait card for their land destruction spells. It's like Ren and 6 just gets back anything you destroy. So long as I don't need the mana. Okay, they boom there. Makes sense. They have second boom. Probably. Yep. Sounds fun. What, cuts us off a blue? Okay. Funny, blue's not the color. Untap. Let's get... We'll get the Teamer Triome back and play that tapped. Then we'll go ahead and yeah, while they're tapped out, purge this. Okay, quad red. Need to tap for a white to show me second to Johnny Vengeant. Nahiri. That's a fun one. They can dig with Nahiri. So this is... Oh, I need to play my land first. White, green, blue, red, Omniboy. ETB, draw a card. And then this. Pick up, I guess, the other Triome. Because then Nahiri can't ult unless they have removal for this Omnath. Discard draw. They discard Emrakul. Okay. And they shuffle and Cleansing Wildfires their land. Okay. Trying to go Turbo Town. It's another basic. It's tapped though. Yeah, I don't know. I feel we hit for 4. Oh, we exile, we hit for 4, we Teferi, we play out like the Triumph just to gain 4 life. Cool. All right, taking down red white lockout with 4 color pile. Let's see if we can continue. It's turn 3 Omnath. We'll see if that's good enough. Okay, mill. Fun times are ahead indeed. Okay, well, that shock, you know. Watery Grave tapped. That's an interesting one. A forest past turn here. Because we can grow spiral. Make it look like we have up counter magic. Blue 1. 3 mana Ashiok. Okay. Interesting choice to have that right off the bat. Or have that main deck, I should say. Yeah. Mills, exiles of Valakut Rainforest and another growth spiral. Bit unfortunate. So this Uro's kind of dead in hand other than second land drop and redraw. Hour of Promise there is real good for us. Red, blue, white, green. Omni Boy. Ah, yes. Now we can't even mill over all of our Field of the Deads. Visions cycled. When it's like each player draws. You mill 4 in exile. Neat. Well, there goes 2 of our Valakuts and a Dryad. So we have 1 more Valakut in the deck. This is always a fun interaction. So Omnath. Green, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Field of the Dead. Oh, wait, that's right. We can't search. Because I'm a stupid person. You done screwed up there, Honor. Each player draws a card. Sounds good to me. Really don't think you want me drawing cards. So this will be nice. Crab has entered the field. You gonna start milling me? Thank you, opponent. I appreciate that. Has 1 black floating. Surgical's the Hour of Promise. Okay. There is 1 more in the deck. Leaves the other in the yard. Makes sense. We don't really have any recursion. Ah, and then they have the cling. Second Ashiok. Okay. Do it. Down tick. Idiot. Okay. We draw 1, 2. This Dryad. Land for the turn. ETB does that. Now we go green, blue, 1. Row. Triggers. Gain 3, put Field of the Dead onto the battlefield. Triggers will happen. Always yield. Arrow goes to the grave. We will go land for the turn. Triggers will happen. We deal 4 to their planeswalker. Make ourselves a zombie token. And go ahead and play out the Dryad. And then we can save the fetch land. Does not block with the crab. Being that they have like mass removal here. Or they're trying to Mesmeric Orb. Okay. Main board Ashioks. So we're facing Mill. Gaia's Blessing doesn't seem terrible. Path seems meh at best. Veil seems like a good way to make them blank on archive traps and such. Mana Leaks and Remands aren't bad. Assuming this is some form of 8 crab, I'd like some removal. They're running surgicals and stuff, so we can shave there and shave an Omnath. I don't know if that's correct. Make sure that we weren't waiting on us, right? Yeah. Okay. So double Valakut, Growth Spiral, and a Dryad. It's tempting. I don't know how great it is against Mill. It requires getting to a good amount of lands. I don't think we'll get there. Meanwhile, this has 1 land and a bunch of things. We can keep this 5. Bottom and Omnath and Uro? Watery Grave tapped. Okay. Good for us. Good for us. We'll lead off on a Field of the Dead, pass the turn. Dark Slick. No action from opponent. Hollowed Fountain, shock it in, pass the turn. Island. Flooded Strand pass. What? Did you think I was gonna search? We'll put it into play tapped. I know how your deck works. I don't need to search. Visions, sure, you can cycle a visions. Delta passes. And play out this. Put in the play tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent searches, sure. Say, I'm not gonna bother searching because if you have a hand filled with archive trap, we lose. Opponent's trying to play this game. This is not a game you want to play against a counterspell deck. Dryad. Land. This. There. Always yield. Yes. Cool. Now we've got a mana leak if we need it. I don't think we will. This is hardcast archive trap. Yeah, we'll go ahead and mana leak it. We're now down for a turn. Mesmeric Orb. Okay, there we go. There's a card. I mean, what we did is still correct. We don't crack. Always yield the Mesmeric Orb. Hey, would you look at that? Ravenous Trap. Dang, didn't draw an actual counterspell. I had to try. It's a fairy, huh? So white, blue, green, red, Omniboy. Draw ourselves a card here. That's not a bad card to draw. 3 damage there. Save targets. Yes. Always yield to Omnath. Always yes. Always yield. Okie doke. And take opponent down to 9. We've got lethal on board. And we've got 2 Valakut triggers. Okay, mull over Glimpse and Visions. Cool. One's got 4 cards in hand. Are they the 4 cards that opponent needs to win this game? Fetch land won't do it. They shuffle, go down to 8. They shock, they lose. What? Hard cast? Okay. They fetch again. They floated mana to hard cast an archive trap here. Sure, I'll mill 13. And say, what? Are you trying to get me to flinch and crack these cards? Because I'm not gonna do that ever. Opponent's looking for things to exile, I guess. What a top deck. In combat. Attack with everything. Have instant speed removal or die. Encrypt incursion. Well, you tapped out, so we'll kill you now. Like, I'll just kill you with that on the stack. I don't even know if there was another card for us to grab in our library. So we're looking for green or white. This could have been grabbed, that could have been grabbed. The hollowed fountain's already here. Basic forest is still available to us. Cool. So yeah, there we go. Taking it against Mill. 2-1. Let's see if we can at least get the 3-2. That'll be close to 3 hours. So hand has Mana Leak galore and Growth Spiral. We'll try it. What could possibly go wrong? Okay. We're facing Titan. They bounce that. They'll do this, get breeding pool. And shock it in, pass the turn. We've got answers galore. And Cavernous Souls. Oh no. Opponent names Dryad. As the Dryad? Of course. Of course. A hand full of counter spells. has cavern. So green, red, blue, one. I'm assuming that should be Omnath. Oh, going with a Karn the Great Creator. Do that. We'll mana leak it. Selesnya Sanctuary. Bounces Forest, plays Forest. Does have Grazer? No. No has Grazer. Gets in for 2. Sounds good. Instep, we'll go get a Triome here. Fun. And I grabbed the Triome that can't tap for white. That's what I get for not thinking ahead. Not like it matters. We need to be on the counter magic plan. Come on, let's see the pact. Yes. Into the Titan. Yep. Oh, but they bounced. They bounced the Cavernous Souls. I wasn't paying attention to what land that they bounced. We lose. I'm assuming that they have. Well, it doesn't matter. It puts into play tapped. But they'll get to 7 here. And so I guess what we could have done is mana leak to the Summoner's Pact. That's my own. Oh yeah, because okay. So we've got 6 on the stack. From that, you go down to 8. They have a growth chamber. And if they haven't played a land, we take 6 more. And then we lose to the Dryad because we'll be at 2. Okay. Okay. I think this is a matchup where we want the Cleansing Wildfire just as a way to deal with their Field of the Dead. Verdict and Spout don't seem awful. Aether Gust as a way to get around the uncounterable shenanigans that they're trying. As far as what we want to cut, bolts don't do a lot in this matchup. We like our paths. Shave an Omnath, an Uro, a Dryad, and I guess a Leak. I don't know. We'll find out. Okie doke. I would love to play first. Anne's got a Spiral, a Dryad, an Omnath, and an Hour. Looks keepable to me. That can go get. It needs to minimalistically be a green card. What, this green Grazer? Oh, Tribe Scout. Okay. And so we're looking for green. Ideally, I guess, like... We'll get the Triome. You that shock pass. We need lands. Interesting that they play out a Teleria West. Blue green growth spiral and Field of the Dead is hit. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Go there, pass turn. Okay, they're gonna do... Oh, castle. All right. They don't quite have double green yet. Karn the Great Creator. Okay. That time it will be resolving. What are you going to name, Mr. Creator? Gonna reveal, I guess this is probably like liquid metal, isn't it? Yep. And so we need some of our counter magic. That is an Aether Gust. That is not what we need. Green, white, red, and blue. Omnath, the creator, comes in. Draw ourselves a card. We draw ourselves a Dryad. Can we please hit land? Attack Karn. They block with the Tribe Scout. Are they activating with the Tribe Scout? Yep. Activate, gets a blast zone down. Okay. So they'll get one activation off this Karn in liquid metal coating, which is enough to kill our Field of the Dead, which is unfortunate. But that's not end all be all in this scenario. We're in an interesting spot here. They downtick with Karn. So they have liquid metal and they have what? Golos. So I'm assuming this is Golos here. Okay. Golos comes in. They search for a card. Probably another green source. Probably a bounce land. Okay, makes a 0-1 token to keep their guy around for a turn. Alright, I see what you're trying. So this would be 5 lands. Hour of Promise. Go get Valakut and Ragarin. Omnath, Valakut. Get rid of Golos. Always yield. Always yield. Yes. Yes. Neat. Then we can Growth Spiral. We got rid of the Golos and the Karn. Opponent's down to 14. Opponent can castle here and have a prime time. Then it's zombie making time. Yep. So this is going to be who can hit their land drops more. Although they can technically get double field here and make many more tokens, but they don't. They go for this, they get the Ghost Quarter, they Ghost Quarter our field. Or the Valakut, one of the two. They Ghost Quarter the Valakut. Okay. Makes sense, I guess. Verdict. So we get in for 8, take opponent to 6. And then we have second Omnath. We don't swing with the Dryad. Blocks a zombie token. Interesting choice. So, I mean, this can all be done at instant speed. Because this will be a, if they try to resolve a Dryad here, we have Growth Spiral, try to find counter magic. Growth Spiral, try to find counter magic. Transmutes. Sure. Goes and gets. Has to be a 0 mana thing, so it's Summoner's Pact, right? And Cavernous Souls. Cavern names Dryad. Names Giant. And so now opponent can get lots of fields. So opponent's at 6. Opponent's dead. Unless they have a way to gain life. They might have a way to gain life. And this prime time gets in. Let's see what it grabs. We're looking to dodge Radiant Fountain. Gets Bog. To bog us. Sure. We get Bajuka bogged. Valakut. No. So white, one. It's, yeah, we can do it this way. Destroy all creatures. And now we can go this. Get ourselves a snow-covered forest. Omnath, locus of creation. ETB draw. Snow-covered island. Do that. Gain 4. And we'll be at 26. Opponent's got 4 cards in hand. 2 Titans in the yard. Has the Pact. Gets a Dryad. Interesting choice. They get Pact and Prime Time. Do they have the mana for it? So that... Our problem is that we tapped out. If we had gone Dryad instead... So what? They need multiple Valakuts here? To still kill us? Because this is only 2 triggers. Yeah, it's only 2 Valakut triggers. Ah, 2 Valakut triggers on the Omnath. Sure, makes sense. So we need a Valakut off the top here. Opponent does not have... Oh, I was about to say opponent does not have white. No, opponent has white. They have a Dryad. So it gives their Titan haste and vigilance. Can you believe this is only turn 7? Has 2 bounce effects, plus 2 triggers, plus 4 fields. We go down to 17, they bounce 2 lands. Doesn't really matter what they bounce. So they still only bounce 2. I mean, we go ahead and throw them in front. Reduce as much damage as possible. Doesn't have double strike. That we go down to 13. Opponent plays Vesuva. And that would be why we do that. So that way they need 1 more land drop than they can have right now. I'm gonna wait until the triggers get onto the stack, because this is not dead. We still have 1 out, and they found their out. Okay, triggers go on the stack. We lose. Would we have gotten there though? We needed exactly 1 of our 2 Valakuts. Nope. Okay. 2-2. Let's see how we can end this league. Okay, we won the die roll. We'll gladly take the play here. It's nothing super fancy, but it does have ramp. We'll try it. Do that. Pass turn. Because Triome, Shockland, Triome. Our one downside would be if it's... Okay. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, interesting lines of text. I have not seen Hardened Scales affinity since Mox Opal died. That's not true. Because I've seen it around after Ozolith became a thing. That, they bobble us, see what we're drawing. Neat. So opponent, what do I get to draw? What'd you see? A Windswept Heath? Neat. That's what I'm playing. And so the fact that it's Inkmoth Nexus and Ozolith means I get to be extremely greedy because I know that they don't run Blood Moon. So there's the Hardened Scales. Sounds good. There's an Arcbound Worker. Yep. This will fetch Shock with the Breeding Pool. Yeah. Green, blue, Growth Spiral. Put in Flooded Strand. Do this. Go get the other Triome. Then we have green, blue, 1 Uro. I'll have green, green, blue, blue, and definitely 5 in the yard. Cool. What do we have in our sideboard for this? Nothing. Like a Verdict? That's it. Opponent has gone to think tank mode. Interesting. Valakut tapped. It did not escape. Blinkmoth Nexus enters the field. We are waiting on them. I know how difficult that deck is to pilot, though, so I can't complain. Ancient Stirring sounds good. Basic Forest. They can't play that card right now. 1/2. Arcbound Ravager. This sounds interesting. However, I'm not a big fan. So let's bolt there. Yep. You miss out on the modular, but that's fine. You can, if you want to, put counters. They do. Sounds good to me. Mainly because we're gonna be doing Omnath things. Going red, blue, green, white. Omnath, ETB draws. You that gain some life. Go ahead, get ourselves a basic snow-covered plains here. And then we get some mana to float. We sadly can't do green, green, blue, blue. But we'll go ahead and just path that away. Welding jar, okay. Goes ahead and animates. We don't have a way to recur. We were hoping that they would have gone a bit more, because now they have a 7/7. We now need path and only path. Do not care what that is. We're countering it. Hour of Promise. We won't win the game. We don't have any flyers. Green, green, blue, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it like that. Arrow comes in. We want to try to find our paths. Omnath is not a path. Which is a bit on the unfortunate side. I mean, we can still find a path because we can play Omnath. Omnath, keep this one. We just need 4 mana, draw a card. That won't do it. Okay. So Cleansing Wildfire can get in here because Inkmoth Nexus is a bitch to deal with. Verdict is not good. Fire Spout's not good. That's not terrible. They have green, but I don't think that's what we want. I think it's just Wildfire, so we have an answer to, because we can answer just about everything else. Shave an Arrow, shave a Omnath, shave a Renin 6. Because we know that they're bringing in these cards. Hand feels slow. I mean, again, hand feels slow, but it's got early interaction, which is probably what we want. Okay, we'll keep and we'll bottom a fetch land. And that hollowed fountain tapped past turn. Okay. Welding jar. Bobble. And forest ozolith. Okay. They are real big fans of that ozolith. And that's what we wanted to see. Ancient stirrings, sure. Reveals. I guess we could have countered that. I'd much rather use the counterspell on whatever they grab off of the stirrings. Scales is a good enough card. I want to go ahead and counter. You this. It's what, a flooded or hollowed fountain, right? So we'll do breeding pool, shock it in. Mana leak. They crack bobble, sure. Really don't want them resolving a hardened scales. An Uro. Sure. Blue, green, blue, Uro. Escape triggers that. You this. Sacrifice Uro unless it escaped. It did not escape. So we'll have plenty of paths. Hardened scales. Yeah. Makes me real glad I counted the first one, because you don't want two of those out on the field. This and a Ravager. Oh, Hangerback. Okay. And is Hangerback when it dies? Yes. Ozolith is the only one that has the annoying when it leaves trigger. You this. Doesn't matter which triumph, we've got our 4 colors. Dryad. Green, red, Renin 6. Uptick there. This needs to go get a green source that comes in untapped. Dryad here. Pass the turn. So opponent could kill our Renin 6 here if they really wanted to go in. They'd lose their Ravager. I guess that'd be all that they'd lose, technically. So we know that they have a Ravager in hand. So Ravager 1 unknown. They can't kill us this turn, right? 2, 4, and then put 5 and 6. So this is attacking the Renin 6. If I block, I lose it. If I don't block, it goes to the yard, which will put 5 into the yard. Then we have Path Uro. Again, this forces them to decide to either go in on this Ravager or not. What we really need to find is our one of Teferi here, so we can go Teferi, bounce the Ozolith once it gets counters on it. Okay. They're going this route to go modular, put counters on the Ozolith, put counters onto the Hangerback. They now have a 7/7 Hangerback Walker and 4 counters on the Ozolith. We lose our Renin 6. Oh no. What's your other card here? Oh, what a beautiful draw. Because that can go get planes, which will then turn on Uro. We go green, green, blue, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I clicked the Renin 6, but apparently not. Uro comes back from the yard. Triggers happen. No land can be put in, that's fine. And we get in for 2. One's got 2 cards in hand. Blinkmoth Nexus. Plus some creature. Ballista on 2. Okay. Ozolith is going to target there. Go ahead and pat that now then. Okay, they're gonna kill me. Oh, they were debating if they wanted the land. I mean, minimalistically, you hit me for 2 here, right? Well, no, you might want the counters on the Ozolith. Because it still leaves the battlefield. to ferry off the top. To ferry off the top. We've got 2 looks at it because of Uro. Arguably 3 because we have another Uro in hand. Turn Timber Symbiosis. Interesting card. We can't play it. Because we are dead in the air if we don't hit our one of... That's a cycle land? We'll hold it. Opponent takes 8, goes to 10. Now we need green, blue, blue, Uro, and keyboards. What? Opponent face rolled. We're looking. That won't do it. Damn. You always yield. Then cycle. Because we're dead to this. Yeah, we didn't find it. Unfortunate. Because this, they target there, that happens, it becomes a 15-15. Oh, we're at 21. We're no longer dead to that. Why would you swing? Because now you're dead to my board. I gained 6. Darkbound Worker, okay. I still have outs. I no longer have outs. Because that'll happen. Modular if you want. So I could put 6 and I mean, we have to do this, right? We have to try. Fetch down to 8. Snow covered, whatever. Fetch down to 7. This land. Island. This. Green, green, blue, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that. Choose this one to keep. Triggers. Try to find our bolt. Cool. What are you doing? I am trying to look for a land or path or anything. I'm looking for an answer. The game's not over until it's over, buddy. Calm down. Okay. Run it back. So we've got the wildfire, we've got a Teferi. This is a keep. It's slow in terms of what we want to be doing, but because it doesn't have any counter magic. Neat. So we drew that. We can do this. Pass the turn. We're looking for the, I guess, fun triome. Metallic Mimic, names Construct, Dumps Hand. There's Ballista on 0, which is a 2/2 Ballista. There's Hangerback on 0, which is a 2/2 Walker. Yes, you, that triome can do that. Renin 6, huh? I guess it's you. Play Bolter Cells, green, red, Renin 6. Downtick the Mimic so that way they don't continue to get value off of it. That plus Ravager. Okay. Do it. Go in. Actually, are we dead? We're dead here, aren't we? I can do Ravager math, right? Yeah. That's 8. Because that happens, and then it's a 21 Ballista. I'll give him the GGs and let him swing. So, the Hardened Scales deck, as always, when it has legs, it's got legs. But when it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's why I'm not a big fan of it anymore, and why you now see me trying a Jack of all trades modern type effect instead of the whole I used to be on affinity. So overall, I like the way the 4-color Uro pile feels in modern. I definitely agree with these cards. I think the Dryad package with the Hour of Promise and the other land, I feel this is a bit too cute. I feel you'd rather have more counter magic. I just couldn't afford it for rental service purposes. So this is the one that I went with. It doesn't feel terrible. Like I said, we went 2-3, not awful. I probably could have played a bit better and probably could have come out with a 3-2 or even a 4-1. Yeah. The 4-color package is always an interesting one. I definitely think it's very, very powerful right now. I definitely take it more in a control range than what we did, but hey. Sideboard felt good though. So sideboard felt good. The cards that we were grabbing felt good. I like that this list doesn't get too blown out by Boyle. Like we've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 islands, 7 islands. So there's only 7 possible hits for Boyle. I mean, we did get boiled and then we lost, but we came. Actually, when was the boil? Anyway, the problem is Boyle can also blow us out because Dryad turns it into islands. Overall, deck feels sweet. If you've got it, or you've got the card, yeah, if you've got the cards for it and you want to play it, go right ahead. If you want to build it, it's definitely powerful. It might get hit with a ban though. I don't necessarily think anything's ban worthy in modern right now of these cards, other than maybe like Field of the Dead. But again, that's just because it's a land, but we've got ways to interact with lands, so it's not as bad. But yeah, anyway, that's it for this video. See you guys next time.